Alright guys, what is up? Casual K Kyle here, and today I've got the Plumeveil Clone here, and she's hitting pretty good. Alright guys, so the Plumeveil Clone here, I don't know why it's doing this weird thing right now, where it's not wanting to work with me on the top cap here, but, you know, I've had some good and some bad. The vape on it is pretty good, but building on it on this clone is just a total hassle. Wow, this shirt looks orange in here. It's a red shirt. I'm just screwing around here. Alright, so I'm rocking it on my new Sigeli 100 watt, and this thing makes it just freaking too much for me, man. I need to like put some 3 on this because it is too much for me to drip 6 on this. It's just, I have it down, I think, to 80. Yeah, 80 watts. Jesus. Alright. So, now that's dripped. Alright, let's get this going here. And, yeah, let's just see the performance on this. I'm really, you know what? Plumeveil is a nice thing, and they made an okay mod, but when it went down to the screws, God, the screws, the freaking screws just pissed me off. You see, I think I just cut the whole build. The build that's on here right now, I have it up close, and then I have the second half of the build, because the screws I put in here, they decided to strip on me, and then I, had to put in new screws, and then they weren't screwing in, and then, like, it was a whole thing, and I just wanted to build it. Like, I had that same thing when I first got it. It's just been really annoying to build on, so I've only put on like a minimal amount of builds on this and just enjoyed those builds pretty much. So the build on here is a 0.4 ohm coil, and it's cranking at 80 watts at 6.1 volts, and it's just a lot to take in. Whew, man. Just clouds up the fucking room. First hit I took off of this was actually on my Patriot, which has a 0.39, 0.4, somewhere around there. I'm like right at 0.4. This one's right at 0.5, so it's like even more intense than my Patriot was on this thing, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the Plumeveil. The Plumeveil is, the Plumeveil Clone from, I actually got 2. This isn't my only Plumeveil. I got a second one, and that one was a little bit better because it came with a bunch of extra screws, and I emailed the first vendor, and they gave me a bunch of extra screws, so I should be set with extra screws. That's where I had to change them out with this build, because they just keep stripping. Every screw I keep putting in just keeps stripping itself after every freaking build, and it's like, I've never had that before with any RDA, any troubles like that. I've never had troubles like that. It's just amazing that it's just so much freaking trouble on this. But it just freaking cranks on here, dude. It just cranks it. And the Plumeveil actually on the performance has been fantastic. I don't really use the top airflow. Maybe I'll do it now. It's a little better now that I'm fucking cloud chasing the fuck out of it. And time to drip again. But yeah, this thing's been pretty nice. I like how you can take off the top and you can just drip like this. Boop, boop, boop. And it's just easy. Just, you know what? I'm looking every RDA, how they're coming out with this, how you can take off the top and adjust the airflow on these top tabs and all that jazz. If this had a little bit bigger airflow, which I think the new Plumeveils have the bigger airflow on these that you can adjust, I'm liking that. I think the Plumeveil V2 or whatever they want to call it. Aethertech made a good product, and the clones do not at all lead up to what the freaking real Plumeveil is, but the performance is spot on. The building quality is not spot on. If the deck was better, if the middle post didn't spin, it would be a lot better of an atomizer, but you know what? we're gonna go down up close. It's gonna be kind of jumblified and fast forwardy and weird, but I still put it out there so you can kind of see the deck, see it all up close. So let's go check it out down below. Alright guys, so here we got the Plumeveil up close, and you can see it here. Yep, holding it right. Okay, so you know they did the logo right on all this. It all looks pretty good and pretty real looking. The only reason this is all jacked up here, normally it has the logo, you can kind of see the bottom of the logo still on it, but I wanted the airflow on this to be a lot larger than it was, and I still wanted to use the top cap, so I was like, oh, I still like the logo and all that, so I decided to just hold it with pliers and put it on a drill press and just go at it with that. And yeah, it ended up spinning a little bit on my pliers, and I should have used vice grips instead of pliers, but that's a whole nother thing. But that's why my drip tip doesn't look as good. But you know what? Vape's freaking fantastic now. I can get all the airflow I want from it, and all the flavor from the Plumeveil that I want. So the bottom has the gold plating all over. It's all over the deck too. I'll show you on the deck. And you got the pin right here, all gold plated and nice. Although it kind of just looks like brass, but it hasn't tarnished, so I'm gonna believe that it is definitely gold. And so right here, you know, you got your little drip tip right here, little off camera, but you got your drip tip right here. Yeah, it just slides in nice, and you can adjust this down and adjust this up because you're either two air holes right here on either side, and when you close this down, well, it's also reducing the chamber in here. It's adding more airflow right here, and on the side here you have one on here and one right here, so you have bottom fed airflow that goes right into the side negative posts. On either side it has 3 different adjustments depending on if you do a center post build or right and left build, so that's pretty cool. And then you got your, you know, your stock airflows on both sides, and your top cap right here comes off right here. Yeah, it's got, you know, all the slots needed. You can do a single coil if you want, just slide her in there, and you got your single coil, and you can do it on either side, you know, whatever you want. If you want the logo to have the airflow through it, you know, be my guest, you can do whatever you want. So yeah, with that, and then there's your Darlin drip tip, different little adjustable snazzies, do whatever you want with that. And then the bottom here we got the deck. Let's pull this top cap off. The top cap sits flush on here. There's no little lip right here, and you got 2 O-rings. On the top of the 2 O-rings you can see the little slit right here for the hole on the side of your top cap right here, so that just fits on there right there, and it goes right inside of these guys. I can't really show you on camera, but it definitely does. It goes all the way through to these guys, and it's at the very bottom of your negative pins, and it's all gold except for the center post, which, you know, is just a stainless steel. So you got your little screw holes there. I got the screw sitting back here because we're gonna put a build on it in a sec. But yeah, there's your little well. It's you know, deep enough. It's deep enough. It's not super deep. I have had problems with the center post spinning on this, but that happens with a lot of Addies, so I'm not really too surprised with that. And I'm gonna rock this today. Once I put on my builds, it's gonna be a little bit of a higher build. I'm gonna rock this with my new Sigelli 100 watt right here. Can't even fit on here, but Sigelli 100 watt. And yeah, it's pretty sick. I pretty much just got this in, so I'm really wanting to test it out. And yeah, let's go into build. And I think I'm just gonna do this build in fast mode. I got my coils pre-made right here. I'm just doing a 10 wrap dual coil of 24 gauge, and that should come out a little bit higher than any cloud chase and stuff. So let's fast forward through this build really quick, and then we'll be good. Alright, so that that ended up being more of a hassle than I thought it would be. The screws in here just decided to strip themselves, and I had to put in new screws. That is one huge con I gotta put about this thing, is the building on a normal Plumeveil is just a dream, and on this, the screw strip and just the gold strips, and it's just a mess in this for building. So what I would suggest for you guys, if you really want to buy this, it is only 30 bucks, so if you really want to buy this, just freaking build it once and hope it doesn't strip on that first build, and then keep that build. I know how hard it is because the Plumeveil seems like such an awesome thing that you could consistently build on. But anyways, onto the video here. I did 10 wraps on here. Just gonna straighten this out a little bit. Okay. was just straightening it out a little bit. So it looks a little wonky, but the ohms should read out. You can read it, 0.37. So that is a good range that I like to do with my 100 watt devices. Somewhere high 0.3 range was where I was going. Anywhere in the 0.3 range sounded good to me. So that was 10 reps with 24 gauge, and let's pop her on to this Sigelli, shall we? Alright, so we got our fire going here. Let's do that. Ooh, that needs a little bit of work. We'll get it going here. I'll just do a little bit of snazzing up on this. It's hard to get this all on camera with this big box, but I'll get it done. This one over here looks like it's just starting to doing it on its own. Nice. Looking pretty good. And it is sitting at 85 watts right now, just doing that. And yeah, let's crank her up to 100. Let's see what happens when we crank her up to 100. All right, cranked up to 100. Oh man, that's gonna fire like freaking freight train on that. Oh my god. All right, so I got this thing all cooled down, and let's pop some cotton on it. Firing like crazy, dude. Holy crap. Wow. That's awesome. Alright. Let's take her to the original screen and we'll just see how many clouds this thing can chuck. Alright guys, so you saw it up close. It was a little bit weird because I had a bunch of problems with it. Like I said, ooh, what the hell? Whatever. It's got magnets. The screws are not in there all the way, but I don't really care because yeah. So I'm doing 80 watts right now and we'll see how that is. We'll crank her up to 85. Clicked up to 90 watts. This is just getting gnarly, dude. I can't even grasp how like gnarly this is. I'm gonna take a minute and then we'll go up to 100 because we gotta go up to 100 watts. That's the big deal, right? You gotta go up to the 100 watts. Okay, we're going up to 100 watts. Alright, so as you guys can see on this thing, I'm gonna put it back down to 80 because that's what I like it more at. But this thing just freaking, you know what? The performance on this is fantabulous. It's just so awesome. It's freaking awesome. I don't know. If it was easier to build on this thing, I'd use it. I would build on it all the time because it's a freaking awesome little device, and I do suggest it, the real one more than the clone. But you know what? If you want a cheap substitute for the real one, because I really couldn't find the real one, so I went for a clone. Yeah, that's pretty much that. I'm actually gonna crank this down to 70 because I am like freaking overloaded right now because that was a lot of vapor. But yeah, that's all I got for the Plumeveil. Check it out for next week's video. Every Tuesday I come out with a video. I would like, you know, if you want to drop a like, that's cool. Drop comments, whatever, you know, whatever floats your boat. That's a Plumeveil clone. Casual kick out. Let's stay casual.